And President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met heads of the high and constitutional courts in Africa on Wednesday. Presidential spokesman Ala Youssef said that the president stressed on the importance of the pivotal role played by the constitutional courts in Africa. A conference gathering heads of high and constitutional courts in Africa concluded in Cairo on Tuesday. The event was organized by Egypt's High Constitutional Court in cooperation with the Foreign Ministers Agency for Cooperation for Development. The conference brought together 25 heads of constitutional courts in Africa.
Prime Minister Sharif Ismail headed on Wednesday the first cabinet meeting after the reshuffle. The new ministers had discussed a number of political, economic, social and security files. The ministers tackled measures taken to provide better services for the citizens and protect the low-income brackets. The meeting also covered the effect of the retreat in the dollar prices and how will that reflect positively on inflation.
Al-Azhar Deputy Dr. Abbas Shamaoun and President of the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue, Cardinal Jean-Louis Touran, inaugurated meetings of the Joint Committee for Interreligious Dialogue at Al-Azhar headquarters. A forum is expected to take place under the title The Role of Al-Azhar and the Vatican in Countering the Phenomena of Fanaticism and Extremism and Violence in the Name of Religion. Shamaoun hailed the cooperation with the Vatican in spreading moderate thinking, stressing on the role of Al-Azhar in this domain. He also pointed out Al-Azhar's cooperation with governments to combat poverty and illiteracy to protect youth from extremism.
The Minister of Defense, General Sidi Sobhi, met on Wednesday with the Hungarian counterpart Istvan Semescu during his visit to Budapest. The two ministers discussed deepening bilateral relations and defense industry cooperation as well as security policy issues, including the migration crisis and the fight against terrorism. They agreed on boosting cooperation between the two countries. The ministers had discussed issues of mutual concern and the latest developments on the regional and the international arenas.
Border guards discovered a tunnel in northern Sinai and managed in cooperation with the military engineers to destroy it. A statement said the law enforcement forces in the 3rd Field Army arrested 12 militants in Jabal al-Halal area in Sinai. It added that during the operation a large amount of drugs was seized.
And the world watched this morning the sun illuminating the statue of King Ramses II in his temple in the city of Abu Simbel, south of Aswan. The phenomenon comes twice a year on the 22nd of October, and this marks the date of the birth of King Ramses, and on the 22nd of February, that marks the coronation day of the king. The story.
Tourists gathered on Wednesday at Aswan's Abu Simbel temple to watch the bi-yearly phenomenon of the sun illuminating the face of the statue of King Ramses II at Abu Simbel temple. They gathered before sunrise to watch a stream of light gradually sneak through the temple's sanctuary and illuminate the face of the king. However, the statue of the pharaoh god of the darkness Ptah remains in the shade because its connection to the underworld. The 3,200-year-old solar alignment ceremony draws thousands of tourists who come to see the sun light up the ancient temple's dark inner chamber at dawn around 6:22 a.m. for nearly 20 minutes. The celebration was attended by foreign tourists and hundreds of Egyptians, as well as the ministers of Antiquities, Tourism and Culture. Antiquities Minister Khalid Al-Anani said that Wednesday's event had drawn 4,000 people, among them visitors from 20 countries. Over a dozen folklore troupes from across Egypt performed songs and dances with regional costume during the celebration. The spectacle at Abu Simbel is one of the most popular remnants of the pharaonic era. Egypt's most powerful pharaoh Ramses II had temple carved in a mountain on the banks of the Nile to align with the sun twice a year, on the 22nd of February and the 22nd of October, to celebrate his birthday and ascension to the throne respectively. The main temple, which Ramses adored, built near the border of Nubia and Upper Egypt, was dedicated to two sun gods. Standing 100 feet tall, the temple was carved and already standing sandstone mountain on the banks of the Nile. Abu Simbel Temple do not sit in their original location. Egypt's growing need for electricity prompted the construction of the Aswan High Dam in the 1960s. The dam created Lake Nasser, and rising water flooded a number of important archaeological sites along the banks of the Nile. Member of the UN Education, Science and Cultural Organization, the UNESCO's orchestrated the massive construction project that moved the temple back 690 feet to its present location. The only result of the move is that the days of the illumination have shifted one day, as it used to occur on the 21st of February and the 21st of October.